plus 2024 Jeep Compasses, starting at just $34,945. Jeep Compass, great vehicle for your first or second wife. They're out there. All right, Glen Suitor's laughing. It's always good when you get Glen Suitor laughing. We see him in the green room here if you're watching the stream, where you're going out on the Western Pizza guest hotline, talking to suits. What do you like more, Glen, our flag football talk or our marriage talk?
I like both. I've been thoroughly enjoying it all day long. And, when I think about my wife, I'll tell you a quick story about the only person on the planet that I somehow came across and we got married and has been the only person that would put up with me all these years. And my almost OCD methodology and the way I approach things, I don't know that anyone else could have done it. But I was training before I met and the whole journey started. I was training in the Cayman Islands. This is weird, but I'm training for another football season with the Riders in the Cayman Islands, and I'm with a buddy there. We have a house right on the beach. I'm running on the beach. I'm running hills with the Cayman rugby team. I mean,
what year is this?
Well, we're talking early 80s now. We're talking about, mid 80s. Okay.
So people out there, let's paint the picture. We don't have video footage of this on the stream, but we're picturing Sylvester Stallone, Carl Weathers in Rocky, the short shorts and the shirts that are like, show the belly.
Yeah.
And then is that what was basically what we're after here, Glenn?
Exactly. So there's that. Plus when I went out at night, you had the white blazer, right? Like that was like pure white blazer with the collar out the thing. Anyway, so I'm training in the Caymans, and I get on the plane after a month and a half to get ready for training camp in Saskatchewan. And I say to my buddy, there is no way I'm getting married ever. This was too much fun. I lived 2 months in the Caymans. I was teaching scuba diving in the morning and training for football at night. I mean, we're talking about a lifestyle that you just can't make up. And I said, I swear, I'm never getting married. I came back from that trip. 2 weeks later, I meet my wife, he becomes my wife in just 1 year. Like, it happened that quickly. So, Barney, when you say, if it ever went, something happened, then I would never get married again. I don't know, man. Never say never. I was never getting married, and I did in about a month.
Did you? The white blazer was retired. That was it.
It sounds like you had the lifestyle of Thomas Magnum, living in the islands on a resort, teaching.
Was it Thomas Magnum?
It was Thomas Magnum. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have a Higgins?
Yeah. Did you have a Ferrari?
Well, my buddy and I were loving life. I mean, we teach scuba diving with tourists in the morning.
Oh,
and then
did you have to hold them up in the water like Magnum did?
Exactly. Like I was teaching the prettiest girls coming in. I was teaching them how to windsurf. I was teaching them how to sail and scuba dive, and I didn't even know how to sail. So we were doing that, and then I trained for 4 hours, seriously training, like all in training, which was awesome down there, and I had a gym and everything, and then I swore I would never change that lifestyle. Like, I'm coming back every off season. This is going to be great. This is going to be my training hub. This is it. And honestly, 1 year later, I was married to my wife, and we've been married for well over 30 years.
What's your wife's name?
Yourself, all this is missing is a wife. That's all this perfect environment's missing.
Elizabeth is her name.
And what was your buddy's name in the Cayman that you trained with?
Well, his name was Ronachilli. He's Italian, but we called him Chili Dog. And he was the guy that got it set up down there. He was down there on a resort and got it set up. And he just called me and said, "Hey, in your off season, you come down here, make some money teaching scuba diving. Tourists are they're just handing out cash. You show them a turtle underwater, and they are buying you dinner every single time. I mean, it is a great lifestyle. And then you can train down here because there's gyms, there's the beach you can run on these banks. There's a rugby team down here you can train with. I mean, so And he was a football guy too, so he could throw the ball to me. I could do ball work and everything. And I'll tell you what, I swore I would never change that.
Yeah.
And I did immediately when I met my wife. And
I think everybody, female or male, that's listening right now is going, what the hell were you thinking? Elizabeth, great lady.
Yeah,
but
love you, Liz.
But then that's where you go into the whole, if it's meant to be, it would have been meant to be. And then how was that call to Chili Dog or whatever, being like, hey, Chili Dog, yeah, that was the best off season in the history of my life. But I'm going to tell you what, I just screwed it up.
I think I'm going to get married instead of do that. Instead of teaching young women to scuba dive.
So much fun.
Yeah.
You can have my white blazer.
Yes. Keep the blazer. You got the blazer.
I don't even know if I want to continue with this segment anymore. That was a great picture.
Haven't been to Cayman since.
Yeah. They probably think you're an absolute moron there.
There's probably a sign up. Don't let this guy back in.
They probably tell stories about it. Let me tell you the story about this guy back in '83.
Yeah.
I had the world, man, and then he never came back, got married.
Lived in Saskatchewan, got married.
Here's a picture of him running on the beach.
You know what? In all seriousness, I made a great decision because she has been fantastic. No one I've ever known is tougher. No one that I've ever known is more giving and more of a team person, more of a you first, the rest, I'll be last kind of thing. She's taught me more about that than any teammate I've ever had.
Have you ever given her scuba diving lessons?
Yes. In fact, on our
honeymoon,
on our honeymoon in Fiji, we went to Fiji for our honeymoon because her uncle worked for Canadian Airlines at the time. It wasn't even Air Canada. That's how long ago we're talking.
Yeah, you could smoke on the plane back then.
Exactly. And so we went to Fiji, and I taught her how to scuba dive there, and we actually went with some sharks. We did some shark diving down in Fiji, and it was But that was kind of the last time she was diving either. It was kind of like, okay, I don't want to swim with sharks anymore. I said I do every day when I do radio. I'm swimming with sharks all the time.
This has been great. I don't even know if I want to go into anything else. You got to have some old pictures, Glenn. You got to send us of your time in the Cayman Islands, and then he goes to Fiji for his honeymoon.
How many rum cakes did you eat when you were in the Caymans?
Oh yeah, and the live music and the food and just beautiful little tax haven is what it was.
Yeah. Who's the Cayman? Is that big Jamaican? Or?
No, it's Britain. It's Great Britain.
So what the culture would be similar to, I've been to the Dominican and I've been to Jamaica.
Yeah, anything it would be similar to Jamaica, but very heavy tourism, especially on Grand Cayman. I was on Grand Cayman, so the tourism, big time tourism spot.
Stop there on a boat.
We have some younger listeners right now that are looking up jobs
in Grand Cayman
off season. Scuba diving instructor.
Hey, but also, guys, your discussion on flag football too. I love it because flag football is the entry point, and in fact, I would like our league to not only come up with the schedule, please, at some point, but also to lean more into flag football. And your interview was excellent with just the growth of it, and watch what happens when it becomes an Olympic sport, which is right around the corner, and how Canada will be able to compete with the entire world, including the U.S. And we'll see if we send pros and all that. That's for a discussion for later. But flag football is such a great entry point. I'd love to see the Canadian Football League as leaders and ambassadors to make sure that flag football, like basketball, volleyball, murder ball, even, whatever else you're doing in elementary school and high school, all those sports that you do, square dancing, all those sports that are mandatory to do in high school and junior high and elementary school, there should be flag football in there too. And every flag should have a logo on it, a CFL logo. Every ball should have a CFL logo, and all the cones and everything else. And that should be we should help do that from a league office perspective to get it to every single school in this country. I think flag football is the key to tremendous growth. You take care of flag football and keep building it like you guys were talking about, in 10 years from now, all of our stadiums will be full for every game at the CFL level.
It is the gateway. It's awesome. And then the thing about flag football, if people have never, and probably most people haven't, but you can go online and watch it. Go online and watch the 2024 World Flag Football Championships. A bunch of Saskatchewan boys played on Team Canada. Mason Nias was one of them.
Yep.
You go and watch that, and then you see all these other countries and how they play. And it is, in the Olympics, it is going to be so exciting. And I hope the U.S. gets to send the NFL guys, because some of these other countries, they got it pretty dialed when it comes to flag. And all of a sudden, the Mexicans got 4 people in the backfield. They don't know who's throwing the ball, and there's only 5 on the field. It's a different game. It's like totally different game. And it's like, have fun covering Tyreek Hill. Yeah, because he's the only fast guy in the world. No one else has fast guys that can just run. And Tyreek Hill's a bit of a dumpster fire right now.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Well, guys, like how about Sam Emilus as a rider? I mean, his how smooth and fast and small he is, low to the ground. His low center of gravity is going to be tough to get his flag. Just think of, if they do send pros, if we all send pros, then you're probably going to see Nathan Rourke and Trey Ford. But you think about Trey Ford and Patrick Mahomes, both eluding people and keeping them away from their flags. I mean, it's tough to get a solid hit on those two guys at the pro level in football. Can you imagine trying to be specific enough to grab a flag from those two guys and how quickly they can move? I think an Olympic event with flag football and they send pros is going to be outstanding for the game in our country.
So if you watch it, if you do go and watch the World Championships, it's amazing. The spin moves is one thing, but how they do, and I think this year we'll start teaching our guys, is they run and then they dip down. It's almost like they're doing while sprinting a squat to avoid the flag. It is unbelievably athletic, and people think just they're going to play touch football or flag football. It's like, oh, Jimmy, no,
not the same.
This ain't your dad's Cayman Islands. This is legit stuff here. This is interesting. No, it's gonna be really cool. Okay, so we got a few more minutes here. Let's touch on some. Jake Mayer signs with the Riders. I think everyone knew that was coming. That's awesome. You touched on the scheduling thing. We talked Tuesday. Have you got any other inside info on what the heck is going on here?
No, actually, this is what I'm really concerned with here, is that the league has gone dark on this. I mean, I have called a couple of guys. I've called a couple of reporters. I mentioned that I had talked to a senior producer at TSN to see if maybe we were the reason, and he said no, and that we wouldn't be anyway. Like, it's separate entities. They do their schedule, and then we work around it. And when it comes to that TV theory, we're in the middle of a contract, and there's 2 more years left on the contract, TSN with the CFL. So there would be no drastic changes from here to there, unless there was an extra team added, which we know is not happened. So, it's not that. It's not the FIFA World Cup, because that's not this year. It's 26. So, I'm trying to speculate on what it could possibly be. We talked about sort of different agendas at the league office because of the leadership change. We've talked about that before. That could be part of it. Maybe, and this is pure speculation, maybe this neutral site game could be a blip for a little bit of it. But really, if there's a neutral site game in Quebec City or back on the Vancouver Island again, maybe that's holding up a team or part of it. But you could put a TBA on those anyway.
Maybe there's two. Yeah. Maybe there's 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, could be, and that could be causing a little bit more of a delay. But here's my biggest concern: why is the league so dark on it? I mean, I've talked to reporters; they haven't heard anything. I've talked to our guys in TV, why are they not having some kind of announcement to say, hey, schedule's coming. It's going to be, there's been some, I don't know. You don't have to make up excuses, but just be transparent. There's been some extra additional concerns that we have to sort out, and we'll have it in the next 2 weeks. I don't know. I just going this dark is bothering. It's bothering.
So is there anything new then on the commissioner situation? Is Randy even still around, or is he gone?
Well, according to what he said with when he was announcing his retirement, he was going to stay on until another commissioner had been chosen. And I don't want to get into politics, but when you say I'm stepping down, but I'm going to hang around as a lame duck guy until the next guy comes in.
Tell stories by the water cooler.
I get where you're going there.
Hey, I don't want to lean into politics there. You can vote for who you want to vote for, but that's crazy. And so, when you look at the commissioner saying, hey, Randy Ambrosi says, I'm going to be here until the next guy takes over. Okay, but what can you get accomplished? The one thing that should be the baseline of it is the schedule. It is the schedule. So missed opportunities for Christmas and New Year's and all of that. And now we get into the planning. Like, I don't know about you guys, but when I go to, I don't know, any city, I go because I'm going on a holiday there, and then I look at the sports schedule. Hockey game. Is there a hockey game there while I'm there? I'm going to go. Is there a football game while I'm down there? I'm going to go. I'm going to Nashville. Are the Titans playing while I'm there? Are the Predators playing while I'm there? If they are, I buy a ticket.
What do they got for scuba diving lessons? What am I missing? Okay, well, this could be one of my favorite segments in a long time.
It has. It's been really, really good. It has been.
And we have text messages coming in. Before we let you go, I got to say, what did this? Tom in Davidson, shout out Cyclones. I kid you not, my brother lives in the Cayman Islands. Loves it there. His daughter can teach scuba diving. LOL. Yeah, Glenn sounds like the new CFL commissioner talking about the CFL logo on every flag football. It's Brent up in Saskatoon. So they like it, Glenn. We had a good one today. Enjoy yourself. You can watch college football tonight. Big game, Notre Dame and Penn State.
NFL on the weekend. Looking forward to watching that. Looking to watch some playoffs, and yeah, I'm not betting on anything. After listening to you guys today, you're totally unsure which way you're going. So,
yeah, you know what I'm really thinking at this point? Getting the hell out of here and going to the Cayman Islands. Mrs. S and I, we've been married 17 years. Let's just pack up shop. Kids can fend for themselves.
Yeah, they're fine.
Painted a great picture of the Caymans. Thanks, Glenn. Let's talk Tuesday.
Okay, thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks. I can't believe that. How would you have that lifestyle in the Cayman Islands come back and go, I want to get married? Come on, Glenn.
Well, that's how special of a lady. What's her name, Elizabeth?
Elizabeth.
That's how special of a lady she is.
Good for her. Notice he's never taken her back to the Cayman Islands. Whole lot of closets there he's got to deal with.
Hey, don't throw glass.
No.
Don't throw rocks.
No, I don't throw rocks. I clapped. Good for him.
You're on your second twirl.
I am. Yeah. I should have talked to the first one before I married her. I really should have talked to her.
It's not an exact science on both sides.
No.
It's tough. We've been talking all day about getting married, and Sharky says 30. Try and do it after 30.
Yep.
So, and then people are chiming in that got married in their 20s. Been married a long time. Colson's now scared.
At 27, he's worried.
Alan, how old are you? You want to say?
I'm 25.
Okay. You have 5 years, bud.
Yeah. No rush, Alan.
Play it out. It out.
Enjoy life.
I'll take your advice, guys.
You get out there. You be Alan. You give the world some Alan, and then after 30, you go, man, that if I wouldn't have listened to the Sports Cage that day.
Yeah, think of the mistakes I'd make.
They used to have this sports program, moron used to run it. There was this bald guy with them. They used to put on hockey jerseys that were too tight. And they said don't get married till 30.
So
and I
I
took them on their advice.
I listened to them. They seem pretty smart. They must know what they're talking about.
Marriage.
I'm not giving you hair advice.
Marriage professionals. There's this, kid you not. This could be the dumbest thing that I've said on here. I've always, you ever gone to a marriage counselor? Like lots of people have.
Yeah.
Or just counselors in general.
Yep.
Great people. Hey, free counselor out there. Love you. Do a great job. There are some people that just should be marriage counselors that have no training. They're just logical.
Yeah.
It's like I don't want to say his name. I got one buddy that is just I actually got two, and just be like, just talk. Here are the issues of people are having, and just talk, and they would be amazing at it. No training, nothing.
If they're over 30.
Yeah, and you have to be married. There's nothing worse than going to a marriage counselor probably that's never been married.
Yeah. You don't take.
I don't give engine advice on how to fix a car because I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
I don't go to a gym instructor, ask him how to fly planes. Like it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't work that way, right? You gotta learn from the right people. My marriage counselor told me to run. That's what the advice they gave me. You got to get out of this, man. You're gonna get killed.
If I would have stayed fishing, I would not be married.
Well, just not to that woman.
You never know. Well, yeah. All right, so what? Let's take a break. It's all new Sports Cage, streaming sportscage.com.